All right, today we have the honor of hearing about Wreaths Across America from Don Leland. And the Wreaths Across America is an amazing program. It's been going on for over 30 years. It's held annually on the second or third Saturday in December. And I'm going to read this. Normally I kind of go on the fly, but I feel like the wording in it was really special and important for people to remember. While we have Veterans Day in the fall and Memorial Day in the spring, our servicemen and women sacrifice their time and safety every single day of the year to preserve our freedom. In many American homes, every day there's an empty seat for those who are serving or did not come home and made the ultimate sacrifice. That is why the Wreaths Across America mission to remember, honor, and teach lasts all year long. So with that, we are looking forward to hearing from you.
You saying on that side?
Yeah, just make it good.
I'm right-handed, you're left-handed. That's what
I'll make it go to the side.
All right.
Well, you got the best polished shoes in the room.
So we're going to start with a video just to learn more about the overall program Wreaths Across America. So hopefully the sound worked. I tested it.
Wreaths Across America is an organization that is like no other. It almost touches every person in the United States at some level.
The mission is to remember, honor, and teach. What we give our kids that we've learned from the past is what's going to help them go in the future.
It's important to teach not just the kids, but everybody.
We need to share that freedom isn't free.
Wreaths Across America started when my husband, who was in the wreath business, had too many wreaths.
We had about a truckload left over that year, which is about 5,000. We was trying to think of what we could do with them that would do maybe some good to some people. It's all about Arlington National Cemetery.
He's very patriotic. He just wanted to say thank you.
Out of respect for what we have in this country.
So it became a family tradition.
And it just struck a chord, I guess. Went around the world.
I remember when I started, there's only a few people. And look at the turnout.
It's the heart of the volunteer that makes our mission grow.
And I like to say we have a heartbeat in every community. It grows because of the patriotism that is still alive and well all over the country.
The Wreaths Across America wreath laying is really, it's a celebration of life. That one wreath symbolizes one family that was able to smile because of the generous donations.
That's him right here. Because everyone has a story. There's a story behind every name that you see here.
His name was Jeremy Vargas.
Isaac Thomas Cortez.
Bryce Kenneth Powers. My son.
My older brother Billy was E9 in the United States Air Force.
William Guy Neal.
Just by saying their name, we're remembering them. We're remembering the sacrifice that they made for this country.
January 18th, 2005.
It's really important that people understand that Wreaths Across America is a year-round mission.
My ultimate goal is to place a wreath on every single American veteran's grave, regardless of where it is.
But we're among so many heroes here today that have fought for our freedom. There are American soldiers buried at over 24 different locations across the world that may not have family members that are able to visit them.
Edward D. Fogden.
You are sent over to save us, and you die in a place no one has ever heard of, and that's your life.
It's our goal to one day be able to say we placed a wreath at every headstone of our American military members buried overseas.
We have a saying here that you die twice. First when you stop breathing, and the second time when your name is spoken for the very last time.
The biggest fear Gold Star families have that their child will be forgotten.
A mother's love never dies. It never dies.
Regina, we thank you for your service.
It doesn't matter how they died, it just matters that they fought for our freedom.
Makes me feel extremely proud.
Their character, their sacrifice is not just our past, it's our future. And the foundation of this country was built on the lives of those men and women that we choose to honor.
basically that little intro kind of told you what Wreaths Across America was all about. When they started it back in the 1990s, he was trying to figure out what to do with those reefs, and he got permission to put them in Arlington, and that was back in 1992. Didn't really grow a whole lot over the next 10 years or so, but in 2004, they took a picture of the 5,000 reefs at Arlington, and it had snowed. So the whole cemetery was white with these green reefs on 5,000 headstones. That picture went viral. Within probably 6 months, his phone hadn't quit ringing. They want groups and organizations all around the country were trying to figure out how do we get involved in this. Well, within 2 years, there was 150 groups that were involved in that. They decided in 2007 to form a 501c3 called Wreaths Across America. They have a board. It's an all-volunteer board. The family that started this, they're still involved. His wife is the executive of Wreaths Across America. I get emails from her all the time. But that really got it going. And in probably, I think about 2016, a lot of you may have known Bob Maxwell. And he was a Medal of Honor recipient that lived in Bend and here in Redmond. And he got involved and started getting some of the local groups to get involved in that. In 2018, Don and I got involved because we're with the Honor Guard here in town, and we were doing Memorial Day flags at the local cemeteries. And when Wreaths Across America started, they started getting some donations and wreaths coming in. We got involved and decided that it needed a little more in-depth organization because it was kind of haphazard. And since 2019, in the 4 original cemeteries that we picked up, which was Terrebonne, Tumalo, Powell Butte, and Gray Butte, we've done 100% of those 4 cemeteries since 2019. Last year, we picked up Redmond, which is by far a much larger cemetery. There's over 1,000 veterans buried in Redmond. Last year, we hit 100% on all 5 cemeteries. So my goal is we will never go below 100%. Every year, the program grows. We have more veterans passing away. We're now getting headstrong into the Vietnam era, and there were well over 5 million veterans during that 10-year span that served. Because it doesn't make any difference whether they went to war or not. They're a veteran because they were honorably discharged from whatever service they were in. And so we keep a contact with all the different funeral directors and all the different cemeteries on making sure that we keep up to date on where they are and all that. Okay, this is where we got.
So the timeline we've been talking about.
Okay, yeah, and well, where was it? Okay, 2014 was the first year that all of the headstones at Arlington had a reef placed on them. That's over 250,000 reefs in one place. 68 semi-truckloads. This last year, when they had 150, when they formed the 501c3, we now have over 4,200 locations in this country or overseas because they're also now going to Normandy, to the American Cemetery in Normandy, and they placed 9,000 there last year for the first time. We've got over 4,200 here in this country of cemeteries that have veterans that are being sponsored. The VFW Post 4108 here in Redmond, they're a sponsoring group, and they sponsor the 5 cemeteries that we take care of. Let's see. Yeah, the reefs. The sponsorship on a reef now is $17. They have a program that we're involved in where they give back $5 to the sponsoring group to use for if say we're getting involved with a scout group or something, and we need flyers or brochures or any of this kind of stuff, that gives us money to buy those. Any money that we don't use during the year goes back to buying, is a base fund for me for next year. I put it there and we buy wreaths with it. We have, with the over 1,400 veterans in the 5 cemeteries, if we had to go out and buy all 1,400 of those wreaths, sponsor them, it's about $24,000. For the last 3 years, Wreaths Across America has done a matching wreath program for the first 4 weeks of the system. It starts the day after the Wreath Saturday. This year, Wreath Saturday is December the 14th. So on December the 15th till January the 13th, hopefully, they will have the matching wreath program for those 4 weeks, and so they'll match every wreath that we buy, that we sponsor. And so what I try to do is I've got an account set up in the bank with a VFW post, and that way everything goes into there. And when we start putting out wreaths, the wreaths have to be sponsored by a sponsoring group to a cemetery that is set up with Wreaths Across America. And there's things that they have to do to get those cemeteries in. All of ours are, of course. But they all have code numbers and all of this kind of stuff. It's like any other bureaucracy. You've got to make sure all the code numbers are in there, or it doesn't happen the right way. And so if somebody sponsors a wreath and they don't have the codes, it goes into the general pool, which goes toward Arlington. They'll sponsor wreaths there. There are a couple of fairly large organizations that donate in the millions to wreaths, and that's what's funding this matching wreath program right now, and it has for 3 years. So if we get that, if I can get $12,000 in the bank by the end of December, I can get most of the wreaths sponsored matched up. This year we hit 85%, and I'm over that now. We're about almost at 90% now, and so I have no problem with making 100% this year. We're going to do it. And so, like I say, sponsorship for $17, and as you can see there, they broke the country up into actually 5 areas now. We're area 4, which is the 13 western states plus Hawaii and Alaska. And so they have people that we work with, that if I've got a question or I have a problem or something doesn't come through right, I call her, and she gets on that with the right people back in Maine, and gets it fixed for me. And they're extremely good. They're very good to work with. Let's see. 4,200 locations in Arlington. Yeah, so we got covered pretty much all of that. Do I have any questions?
You can see at Arlington there was 30,000 volunteers for those.
Oh, yeah. Volunteer-wise, there were, this year when they put out wreaths in last December, there were a little over 3 million volunteers across the country and overseas that were there to help place wreaths. And that's a lot of people. You figure they started out with 2 back in 1992 when he first started, and now it's over 3 million that volunteer. Yes.
So, for example, here in the Redmond Cemetery, my wife and I years ago helped put out the flags.
Right.
Are the wreaths now replacing those flags?
No, the flags go out on Memorial Day, or the weekend from Memorial Weekend. All right. The wreaths go out in December. It's 2 completely separate happenings. We still do the flags in May for Memorial Day. We just got through picking them back up again, and but the wreaths go out in it's usually the 2nd or 3rd Saturday, and that's decided by Congress. They give us the date. And the good thing is that what we do is everything is coincided with noon at Arlington. So here locally, we do a ceremony at Redmond and at Terrebonne at 9 o'clock in the morning, which coincides with them doing it at noon at Arlington. And then after the ceremony is over with, the volunteers take the wreaths out and place them on all the graves. And we mark the graves so they know which ones are veterans, of course.
I'll get the ceremony slide.
So if we want to participate, we can contact the VFW here in Redmond?
You can contact the VFW, you can contact Don or myself. And, yeah, and so, in any way, yeah.
Are the wreaths done in honor of a family member or when you do a $17 donation?
They can be. All 5 of our cemeteries are set up where if you have a veteran buried there that you want that wreath for that veteran, then you can specifically name that veteran.
Okay.
Okay? And then that way you're sure that veteran will have it. And you can come on that Saturday and place it yourself if you want to.
We'll make that happen.
Yep.
Here's the ceremony.
And if you want to sponsor wreaths, you can go on to the VFW website under Wreaths Across America, and it lists the 5 different cemeteries, and you can pick one of the 5, and it doesn't make any difference which one you pick. If I get 100% at one cemetery and they get 25 additional wreaths, I can move those to any one of the other of our 5 cemeteries that we need to use them in. And that's the reason as we get farther in the year, if people want to donate or sponsor wreaths, I have them cut the check to the VFW to Wreaths Across America. That way I can see where we have a hole, if we have any, and make sure that everybody has 100% coverage.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I heard you say was in December is your time when if we were to donate money, then we get a break.
Right, and actually, you can sponsor wreaths anytime that you want to. What happens is that if I'm at 100%, I put it in the account at the VFW in the wreaths account, and then on December 15th, the treasurer there cuts the checks to Wreaths Across America to the for the different cemeteries, and that way we're sure that they're going to hit the matching wreath.
So really, when we put money in December, we're supporting the next year's because you've already got this year's.
Well, sometimes. I mean, last year I had.
We only had 400 in Redmond.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Redmond only had 400 wreaths. Went into that 1,000, and that's when Don and I decided that we would get involved with adding that one to our pile. And but yeah, this you never know. If I've got $12,000 in the bank, then I'm covered. But this year I had about 8,000, and then a business came up and gave me 1,500. A family in Bend sponsors 100 wreaths for Terrebonne every year, and she cut a check for 1,700 for that 100 wreaths, which made it 200. Well, I've got 212 veterans, so it almost covered the whole cemetery.
When do you have to order them?
About November.
The last order. Yeah, the last order is usually about the middle of November. But you can order it anytime you want to. The matching is only for the 4 weeks in December and January. But other than that, you can sponsor anytime you want to.
So we should forget the December, January thing and just give you the money now.
Well,
if you want to give me the money now, I'd be more than glad to accept it.
Unless you want us on the edge of our seat in November, yes.
Yeah, and what happens is that I put the money in the bank, and then in November, about November 1st, I take a look to make sure that all the cemeteries are covered to 100%. And if I have any that aren't, then we cut a check out of there to cover that, to make sure everybody, all 5 cemeteries are at 100%, and they will be.
And remember, we're growing throughout the year because veterans are passing throughout the year. So
Yeah.
we start out with a certain number, and then we need 25 more or whatever.
Yeah, I just picked up 6.
Yeah. So.
And yes.
Do you have any volunteer requests? Do you need volunteers at all?
I can always use volunteers.
For placing.
When we place the wreaths, absolutely. Yeah, and that's always, like I say, it's always the second or third Saturday in December. And we can certainly use volunteers to help place the wreaths, yes.
Okay.
So this December I'll have 1,005 wreaths to place at Redmond. So
as of right now, 1,000.
Right now. Well, it's going to be more than that because I already know of another one.
I live in Terrebonne, so I'm interested in that.
And I take care of Terrebonne. Terrebonne is my personal. That's the one I started with.
Okay.
So Are there a combination of people that prepare the wreaths, make the wreaths, companies that?
Yeah, the gentleman that you saw up there, they were talking about that donated that first 5,000. It's his wreath company that exploded when this whole thing.
They're in Maine.
Yeah, and I don't know whether he actually sells any more than just, I mean, because they generated 3.2 million wreaths last year.
Yeah, just the one company?
Just that one company, yeah, and they've actually got a couple of tree farms that they use to prune to actually make these. Because they're all live wreaths.
And then trucking companies and fuel companies, they donate all the trucks, all their drivers, and all the fuel to move them across the country.
Yeah,
so
Central
you
Oregon
get them from across the country here.
Right, yeah. Well, Central Oregon Trucking here in Redmond, they donate a truck every year to bring wreaths from Portland to here, because they'll bring them into Portland on however they get them there, whether it's by train or whatever, and they'll pick them up there. And they bring them, deliver them up to us. There's no charge to Wreaths for that. That's all volunteer. Wow. Yes.
Dave, I was just going to comment that Todd and I have done this where we placed the wreaths and said the veteran's name as you're doing it. It's really well organized and really a special time. We weren't able to do it last year because of some health problems, but we're in. We love supporting this. And I have to say that Don Leland and Dave Pete both have helped us with hospice patients. They'll come out and do hospice pinnings for us and for our patients that are veterans and thank them for their service before they pass.
Just kill it. I forgot they shut it off. Sorry, folks.
You're going to talk about the ceremony.
Yeah, was that your alarm?
Yeah, one more.
Yeah. I just was curious, when you take on a new cemetery, being Memorial Day, we visited a cemetery in Athena, Oregon, which is kind of a small cemetery, but has some people there. But when you start a new cemetery, how do you get a registry of everybody there that might be a veteran?
Okay.
Or how do you start?
It's a pretty drawn out process, but basically, all the cemeteries out there their book is controlled by somebody, an entity. Redmond is by the city of Redmond. Okay, Terrebonne is Autumn Funeral Homes in Redmond has the book on Terrebonne. Tumalo, their book is by Autumn and Bend. Okay, Powell Butte, or it's actually Pilgrim's Rest is the name of that cemetery, but everybody just calls it Powell Butte. Theirs is taken care of by Crook County. Okay, Gray Butte, which is out in the middle of the grasslands, theirs is handled by Jefferson County. So they're all controlled by somebody. Okay, and what we do when we open up a new cemetery, first thing we do is we go in and get permission from them. There's a form that you fill out, and they sign it saying yes, you can put wreaths in our cemetery on Wreaths Across America Day. And if they have any restrictions or special instructions or anything, goes on that form. Okay, that's the start. Okay, that gets sent back to Wreaths, and so that cemetery gets opened up in their book. You try to find a group, a sponsoring group, like the VFW, the American Legion, Kiwanis. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, and what they do is they become a sponsoring group, and that's where the money flows through. Okay, and because when they do the matching wreath, you have to have a sponsoring group that wreath is sponsored through. Even if the money is sent straight back to Wreaths, it still has to flow through them, and it gets credited to that sponsoring group. Okay, and so then you take their book and you go through it. Some people, their books are marked by vets, who is and who is not. Jefferson County is great. If you're a veteran and you get interned there, when they go in their book, the veterans are in red. Their name is written in red in the book, so it's real easy for me to go through and pick those vets right out of there. They miss them sometimes because maybe they got buried 25 years ago and they didn't ask. And so what we do is we go through, we walk the cemetery, check all of the headstones, mark any headstone down that has a veteran's something on either it's a military headstone or it's on there, it says John Thomas, USMC. Tells me he was a Marine. That's all I need. He goes on my list. Okay? And so that's basically how you start building you map the whole cemetery out. It takes a couple of days.
And then pretty soon while you're out there, somebody will come by and say, well, my husband's over, he's a vet.
Right.
And so we go over and get the information or whatever. So we just build it up. My battery died. So.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're on our own now.
Yeah, I think they want us to get done there.
Yeah.
So anything else?
We don't want you to.
Yeah.
Do you have a pole or something? If they're flat headstones, how do you?
Those we lay flat.
Right.
Oh.
And the upright headstones, we'll lean them against them, like they show in the picture.
So we love to have the families come out and place because it allows the children to get involved, which is part of the teaching process that we're into. So again, you noticed on the video, person dies once and they die again if their name's never said. So we place the wreath, we say their name, we move on to the next one. So there's no hurry. The family can go along, and it's really fun to watch them out there teaching their kids.
And the cemetery then picks them up.
Nope.
Actually, we pick them up.
You pick them up. Oh, I'm glad you did that.
So we leave them there till usually about the middle of January. Except this year, every time I scheduled it, it snowed. So we didn't.
2 foot of snow, we couldn't find them. They were all under the snow.
It kept burying them every time we scheduled a Saturday to go pick them up. So we finally picked them up in like February here. But normally they're on there for at least a month, and then we go pick them up.
So do you need help for that?
Always.
Yes. And I usually, on the Redmond Facebook page, I post volunteer opportunity to go out there and help pick all those up. So.
Okay.
And we've got a couple of guys this last year that brought their trailers out, dump trailers, which makes it a whole lot easier to unload them.
So Alan, if you're moving on the greens, I'm on Sam's Neat Courts. You can just come see me and I'll let you know.
Says it right now, Alan.
I'm on the 18th.
No, before you go, we have a little token of appreciation. Brian Watts is a local artisan that has made these cool name pens for us, and so those are your gifts for being here.
And maybe in front of the flag there would be appropriate, huh?
We can do that.
I'll get in there too.
In the middle.
I feel like I have a lot of pictures today.
Hey, boxed in by 2 veterans here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yes, and in honor of our guest today, from the Wreaths of America, remember the fallen, honor those who serve, teach our children the value of freedom. And with that, we're adjourned.